Welcome back to GTA Online. Today's video begins in my lovely apartment, dressed as a 90s basketball player. I decide to complete the look for today. I should get in the shittiest car possible. That's perfect. I decide to do what any hard-working American citizen would do and head straight to the casino. I'm not very good at driving in this car. I seem to crash every 2 seconds. The drifting is pretty good, but not when you can't drive. I head to the casino, and instead of just parking in the garage like a normal person, I pay $50 for the valet, who looks like Matthew McConaughey. I get to the casino, and look what I see. A rival. It looks exactly like my car, so I decide I need to win it. Unfortunately, God tells me no, and I instead earn 25,000 credits. I'll take the money, but I'd much prefer the car. F*** you, rival. As I'm in the car park, a man spawns in right next to me, and instead of looking at me, he just walks straight away. He does hesitate though, but he just keeps walking. How rude. Today's episode is about making friends, but first I must drive off this cliff and lose the front half of my car, because obviously. I honestly think it just looks better this way. Thankfully, as I'm driving, I see a man escaping the police. I decide naturally it was time to follow him. He seemed like he'd done a very heinous crime because he had the entire police force coming after him. As he starts to speed away from me, I see he's taking a lot of damage. I then accidentally crash, and our time together was over. When I'd finally caught up with him, I'd realised that the police had brutally murdered him, as if it was 2020. This SWAT team officer then gets very impatient with me, so I'm forced to brake my car even more to let him out the way. I then notice another player on the map, so I decide to drive up the hill to help him. He then points a gun at me, but eventually gets in my car. As I'm driving, I go into first person mode to admire his beautiful face, but accidentally crash as I was admiring his beauty. Not realising his car was parked right there, he jumped out as I was entering max speed, and he flew across the road. I then see another player AFK on the side of the road and decide to wait for him until he spawned back in. The other guy then caught up with us, and the other guy came alive. I honked at him a few times to signal to get into my car, but then he pulled a gun on me and I got very scared. He looks like XQC. The poor guy in the Supra over there is waiting on us, and he's just standing there like an idiot. I then decide to do the only thing that I could possibly think to do. To kill him and then run off. The other guy, who I saved from the hill, decides to then tase me for some reason. I flop out of the car, absolutely defenseless, shaking on the ground like Michael J. Fox at a roller coaster. He then puts a sticky bomb down, but I get up and run away before he could detonate it. I go to run away, and thankfully he doesn't follow me. It turns out he actually was following me the whole time, and he was catching up to me. I tried to make a right turn to jump up the hill, but I get stuck and... well, that didn't work, did it? Normally I put a little segment through one of these videos where I just tell a story, so I guess I have to do that now. The other day my dad's car broke down on one of the most important motorways in the UK. I was supposed to be going go-karting with a few friends, so we had to call highway maintenance while we got one of my friend's dads to come and pick us up. That's kind of the end of the story, but long story short, I came 29th out of 29 at go-karting. I'm really good. I then reach my car at Moores Mutual Depot, but then I see someone on a motorcycle and just can't help myself. I then run away from the police, but I see someone trying to break into a security van. I park up next to them and beep to signal to them to get in. Unfortunately, they drive away on their own accord, but I decide to follow them. I call Lester and get my wanted level removed, but unfortunately a police car collides into me, and unfortunately that is my fault somehow. I then try and make a break for it and flatten someone like roadkill. Moment of silence for this amazing drift. I head to the beach and wait out my wanted level, before heading back into society and trying to meet up with some new people. When I arrive on the scene, the man looks tentative and then pulls out a weapon, so I decide that I have to run away. I then see they're together, so I double back and offer them a lift, and they actually surprisingly got in the car with me. Oh, no, never mind. I double back for him, only for him to get a Molotov cocktail out, so I have to run away. I then pull up on a police investigation and accidentally run into one of the police officers, which starts a fight. I then become a one-punch killer twice over. As I'm running away, I head to my bunker and decide that it's time to do another weapons shipment. As I'm driving, I see a player behind me trying to shoot me. Little do they realise that this car is basically indestructible. Thankfully, when I run away, they decide not to chase me until the weapon parts were delivered and I saw they were starting to come up the road again. They tried to get revenge, but they couldn't even shoot me while I was stuck on a tree. This should be very easy work to get rid of them, but no. get in. As I'm making my escape, I see another player and accidentally collide with him. Too traumatized from what just happened before, I decide not to make friends with him. I then see a security deposit vehicle and do what I have to do. I pick up the package and I'm 25 grand richer. I then head to my office to escape the wanted level. As I'm driving to my stash house, I see an event is happening where you have to steal the most cars. Just to be petty, I decide to steal double the vehicles of the other person, which is 4. I then win the challenge and get a cool $5,700, only for one of the drivers to try and kill me, so naturally this turns into a bit of a massacre. 10 minutes later, after a police chase, I decide to head back to my home. As you can see, I'm not a very good driver these days and crash multiple times. I'm surrounded outside my own home and I have no choice but to gun down many innocent police officers. This does seem very fitting for the outfit I'm wearing though, especially if I was living in Florida. I try to escape by running up the hills to see if I can jump off something very high to avoid being killed by the police yet again. God's sake. I start panicking and start running around my own house again, looking for a way out of the situation. I commandeer a police vehicle and try something very daring, to run face first into a wall. This fails absolutely terribly, and as soon as I stand up, I'm actually stuck behind the car. This is not the situation I expected to get myself in today. Unfortunately, before I can make my escape, the inevitable happens. Before I go, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who subscribed recently. You know, we're pretty close to 1,000 subscribers, and the support at the moment has been absolutely incredible. I mean, the latest YouTube short I posted has literally more than double my next most viewed video, which is absolutely insane that something as trivial as Lego Star Wars gets that many views. Anyway, I just want to say a big thank you, and I've been doing this for almost 3 years now with minimal growth at times, but it's really starting to take off now. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.